Thank you so much for the opportunity to participate in this session for RightsCon. I'm so proud and honored to get to be a part of this session with Christine Meinders and the whole team from Feminist AI and all of the folks working on Poieto. This is a really important opportunity, I think, for us to reimagine technologies in the public interest. And one of the things that I've tried to talk about in my own work is that although we don't need more new tech, we need new paradigms in which to imagine social equality, racial justice, and a host of attendant issues in our society that we need to confront and deal with. We also need makers of technology to be thinking in bold and innovative and different ways. And I have loved watching the development of this project and thinking about what would it mean to center people who are vulnerable, center those who are in the margins, in the design and the logics of new technologies. So I'm thrilled to kind of get a front row seat to the development of Poieto and to see what it means to engage with community and have the public have a real voice in centering different values, not just the values of profit at all expense or extraction at all expense, but thinking about how might we protect communities also in the development of technologies and think about what the costs are to the ways that big tech, quite frankly, has been working. And one of the ways we do that is by putting up alternate models and by showing that we can, in fact, encode differently, encode different kinds of values. And of course, these are experiments, but these experiments are so important because what they do is they show us that there's a possibility for other ways. And this is one of the reasons why I'm just so thrilled to get to think about the role of art and making as a response to things we have no say-so, quite frankly, in having to experience, or that we are kind of our participation becomes forced into certain channels despite our alleged consent. So I just want to say that this is going to be a great session. I'm super excited to watch Christine walk us through this new experimental technology, and I hope that it is a way to bolster thinking about human rights, civil rights, and sovereign rights differently in the tech sector.
In the following presentation, our team will share a little bit about the tool Poieto. Poieto is a collaborative software that facilitates new ways to create and shape emerging technologies. It places equal weight on both social and technical components of the design process, centers multiple perspectives, and community-driven design. It's explicitly exploratory, not prescriptive. Poieto is inspired by symbiosis, which is about collective creation, and ethos, meaning character of a community or using art to influence behaviors.
Poieto is a tool that is built to embed social implications into existing and future AI projects. It does this through slow tech, data collection, software integration, and community.
Poieto is used in course offerings at CalArts and CCA here in California. It's used in all of the community education and activist tech projects of Feminist AI, and it's currently being used to design our most recent Feminist AI research, called Encode, which is centered on the work of Dr. Noble's book Algorithms of Oppression and the article The Loss of Public Good to Big Tech.
Poieto is moving towards a new paradigm for technology, and we'd like you to help us create it, incorporating the social, exploratory, and community in order to prioritize both the social and technical in the crafting of AI. In the following tech demo, we will use Algorithms of Oppression as the case study for Poieto.
Artists, academics, makers, corporate, and communities can all use Poieto. This tech demo will show high-fidelity wireframes for implementation. At the end of the presentation, we will share a link out to the data collection portion of the tool for you to interact with.
This demonstration shows 3 main entry points for Poieto. First, you can remake an existing AI or emerging tech project. Next, you can create an AI or emerging tech project. And lastly, you can contribute to one part of a project. For the purpose of this walkthrough, we will show you the user flow for how to use the tool to remake an AI project. This example is inspired by algorithms of oppression and is contributed by feminist AI community members. So let's go ahead and click on Remake an AI project. Here we are. We've landed on remaking an AI project. On the right, we have a list of existing AI projects. This list tells you exactly what tags are used to identify topics and what software integrations are applicable. But I want to draw your attention to one specific project that we are going to remake.
In line with algorithms of oppression, we will remake this project titled Google Search. If you read Algorithms of Oppression, you will see the incorporation of Dr. Noble's work in the tool, from the lenses to the design to the suggestion of multiple searches.
So here are the 5 steps involved in remaking search. We'll click on Modify Project Info, which brings us to the Remaking Search Project Info. We're brought to this project information page. So the next part of the tool takes you to selecting your audience.
Here we ask if there is a disconnect between the people using and making the technology.
A third part of remaking search is this idea of making a blueprint. Here we are remixing a search project so the info is already filled out. There are 2 parts to the blueprint section, where we ask what it does and how it functions.
Arguably, the most important part in remaking a project like search is identifying current assumptions in the design process through different lenses. Here are the current lenses that are pulled directly from the book Algorithms of Oppression, as applied or processed by the feminist AI community. All too often in tech, we see a prominent focus on the software, and its developers are well compensated for their labor regardless of whether the things they create have problematic aspects to them. We don't see academic or community work that makes software better recognized, nor do we see the practitioners in these areas compensated for their labor. We believe that this kind of course correction should be fully integrated into the design process in a publicly recognized and financially compensated way. So in the lenses section, as has been highlighted by Dr. Noble's work, there is still systemic oppression in search because it's commercially driven and filled with unwanted bias.
And here you can see we acknowledge, highlight, and trace this academic and activist work through the lenses from Algorithms of Oppression and applied to current approaches to search.
Here we get to the actual remaking of search in this Create a New Future section. You can add as many layers of lenses or lenses as you'd like. The first row is offering new perspectives from Algorithms of Oppression lenses. Here we ask, what if we designed for positive representation, multiple culturally situated searches, and used search as a form of community power? The second row is additional lenses suggested by feminist AI.
Here's a close-up on a card from the second row, which was contributed to by feminist AI members. This card incorporates principle number 8, which says, people directly affected by tech should be making the tech.
The data collection section shows that projects can be grouped by nonprofits, academic institutions, and project type.
Here is the model section of the tool. You can click on existing models or suggest new ones like the anti-freshness algorithm, or link out to something like Runway ML or P5JS to incorporate with the project. Rather than using Google Search to reimagine Google Search, you can do so with Wekinator, Runway ML, or P5. Poieto honors and is inspired by Wekinator in the work of Dr. Rebecca Fiebrink. Now, we'll apply Poieto to the Feminist AI Project series in code.
So the example we just paired with Poieto is the Feminist Search Project. The feminist AI community is working on several Algorithms of Oppression inspired projects.
Here are some of the active projects using feminist search. Communities can open up their data or only share with specific communities. Community leaders can choose what's important to their communities, decide who will be part of their project, and if and how they will share data. The communities own their projects, so with Poieto, we are creating a space for people to freely connect, make, and share as they wish.
Here are the makers of Poieto as they would like to be identified. The Poieto team is honored to launch this data collection portion of the tool with algorithms of oppression as our first case study. We will continue to build the tool out with our friends in our communities, from nonprofits like Feminist AI, books like Algorithms of Oppression, and tools like Runway ML, Processing, and Wekinator. Poieto is about co-creating our social technical futures and honoring our friends and community in the process.
For more information about Dr. Noble, you can follow her on Twitter and purchase her book, Algorithms of Oppression.
For more information about Poieto, check out the data collection portion of our tool on the website listed here. You can also follow us on Instagram or Twitter. Thank you.